In this section, we're going to look at plugins. Now, if we go to the WordPress backend and have a look here, you'll see that one of the items over here is called plugins. If I click on install plugins, we haven't got any. If you remember, there were two that were installed by default when you installed WordPress, but we deleted both of those. So at the moment, we don't actually have any plugins. So what I need to do is to go to plugins, add new, and I get this page here. Now there's 4 tabs here. There's featured, popular, recommended, and favorites. If you don't know much about plugins, probably a good place to look is the popular tab. So here, these are plugins that people use. You know, that they're basically rated for the best used or the most popular plugins. So as you can see in this case, the very first one listed here is something called Contact Form 7. And if we have a look at this, there's various information being displayed. So it's last updated 4 months ago. It's actually untested with the current version. But if we look at the number of installs, there are over 5 million active installations. That doesn't mean someone's installed it, had to play around and uninstalled it. That means that over 5 million people have actually installed it and are still using it. And if you look at the reviews here, there's over 1,500 reviews. And it's got a very, very high rating. Same with this one here. This is very popular, SEO Yoast. If we come down the page, let's look at some other ones that I'd recommend. Things like this, Google XML sitemaps. Again, an awful lot of people have installed this. Very good ratings. Untested with the current version, but last updated fairly recently, 4 months ago. Now, it's very important to realize that, you know, if you look at these plugins, I mean, this one is produced by this person, this one by a team of people, this one is actually by the people that make WordPress itself, Automatic. If we come down here, this is by someone else and someone else and someone else. The point is that all of these plugins are produced by different people. Some of them are large, sort of well-known companies. Others could be produced literally by someone in their bedroom, you know, just working on their own. So you have to sort of look very carefully at a plugin before you install it, because a bad plugin can cause all sorts of havoc with your WordPress installation. By going to the popular tab here, these are ones that basically other people have used. They've taken the risk, if you like, and as you can see, you know, you're talking about millions and millions of users in all cases here. So we'll install some of these plugins in a minute. So Contact Form 7 is very good for, as it suggests, producing a contact form. SEO Yoast will help you with your SEO, as the name kind of implies. And if you come down here, let's look at some other things. This one here, the Google XML sitemap, that's quite important for SEO. If we come down here, there's a free backup program. This is a cache program which will help speed up your system. And if we come down here, what else we got? Let's have a look. This is good for optimizing your pictures, making the file sizes smaller. And if we come down here, there's various other things. There's a redirection which can be useful for SEO. Disabling comments, which is something I always do. By default, comments are enabled within WordPress, which is a nice idea. Trouble is, if you allow comments, unless you heavily moderate them, you'll tend to attract all sorts of spam and, you know, just stupid advertising or what have you. So we'll install some of these plugins in a minute. If we go to the next page, and notice this is page 1 of 1,638, and there are, I don't know, 10 or more per page. So there's an awful lot of plugins, and the great thing about these plugins is anything listed here is free. So here, for instance, you've got WP Fastest Cache, which will help speed up your system. And the loading speed of your website is important from an SEO point of view. So anything you can do to speed up the loading is a good thing for SEO. Now, this is one of the great things about WordPress, the fact there are so many different themes available. So really, whatever you want to do in WordPress, someone's probably already written a theme for you that will do the job for you. Sometimes the themes you see listed, sometimes the plugins you see listed here are, you know, fairly basic, and sometimes you have to pay for like sort of the professional version. But that said, there's an awful lot of really good free stuff here that'll help you improve your system, make it faster, maybe make it safer. So As I say, that's really why I recommend using WordPress, because you've got all of these plugins available. There are other premium plugins, these are free ones. There are other premium plugins that you can purchase. So let's say, for instance, you were selling training manuals and you wanted to set up a membership system where people had to register, pay some money before they got access to download your training manuals. Again, that would be done through a plugin. As I say, if you want to do just about anything, let's say you've got a hairdressing business and you want to organize an online system for booking appointments, again, you will find loads and loads of different plugins available. As I say, for the really good ones, the most flexibility, I'd probably think about getting a premium version. But that said, the free versions will take you a long way. So, check it out, check out the plugins, but do remember, always when you're looking at a particular plugin, look at how many people, have installed it, in this case, almost 1 million, how many reviews you've got, and, what the reviews are like. This is like outstanding, like 5-star reviews, compatible with the latest version, updated a month ago. And if we click here, you can always get more details on a particular theme. So if you go down here, you can see the breakdown of, they've had a couple of 1 stars. Trouble is, you'd always get some people who will rate things badly because they probably just don't understand what they're doing. The vast majority of people in this particular case give it a 5-star rating, and they're very happy, thank you very much. Again, if we look here, there's more information on the official website in this particular case, and you've got a list of features of this particular plugin, which is a caching program. And you've also got different languages being supported. So as I say, be very, very careful about installing a plugin that you haven't necessarily used before. Always check out the recommendations, the compatibility, things like that. And do be aware of the fact that installing a bad plugin, one that's badly written, can really mess up your system. Worst possible case, and I have seen it before, is you've got a WordPress system working absolutely fine. You install a slightly dodgy plugin, at which point it's so messed up you can't even log back in. So, beware, basically. The other problem you should be aware of is that sometimes you can have 2 perfectly good plugins, but just a particular combination clash with each other. Again, that does happen sometimes. So the best advice I can give you is to go and install a backup plugin. That's the first thing you do. Make a backup, so whenever you're going to install a new plugin, but prior to doing that, run a backup just in case. You've got a set of backup files. And the other thing incidentally is when you're updating anything needs updating. So within WordPress itself occasionally needs updating. Sometimes the themes need updating. Sometimes the plugins need updating. Again, very good advice is always do a backup prior to updating anything, because that's the danger time in WordPress.